Good morning from Panhandle Outdoors with Winston Chester. Panhandle Outdoors, your source for fishing, hunting, and information for folks who enjoy the great outdoors. Now sit back, relax. It's Panhandle Outdoors.
Good morning, folks. Welcome to Panhandle Outdoors on this cold Monday morning. I'm Winston Chester, and I'm glad you're here. Most of y'all are wrapped up, and it's going to be another cold one. This past weekend was cold. Today, now, National Weather Service saying the high today is going to be 40. Let me read this again: 48 degrees high, and low tonight 26 degrees here on the coast. So all you folks inland, it's going to be a lot worse. So throw another log on the fire, and I don't know about y'all, but there won't be much outdoor activity going on today around the Chester household. All right, the moon phases. Let's take a look at our moon phases. We're looking at January the 6th, and we're in a waxing moon. We're looking at a full moon probably next Thursday night. It looks like next Thursday night on the 16th, we're getting a full moon coming, so we're waxing up, and this is going to be perfect for the deer hunting is all. So next weekend will be the full moon. Our tides, take a look at our tide chart. Let me get it set up for you right here. It's cold in the studio, folks. We haven't built a fire over here by the edge over here. So let's take a look at our tide chart brought to us by Kent Forest Lawn Funeral Home and Cemetery. Great folks down there on 23rd Street. And we're looking at today again the 6th. We're into some neat tides. Looking at the actual lows this morning, 927, and the high is 618, but we're going to look at a 0.8 foot range, and tomorrow on through Wednesday. But the weekend, if you want to do some sheephead fishing by the 11th of this month, we're going to be in good shape on the sheephead there. Our marine forecast, it just don't go out, okay? It's just not, you don't want to go out on a day like today, really. Just stay inshore and do something close to shore. All right? That takes care of our weather. Let's go and take our break, and we'll be right back. Welcome back on this cold Monday morning. Glad you're with us. Now listen, I was thinking about giving a forecast for the whole year 2014, an outdoor forecast, and I sort of get tickled at different people, predicting stock markets and all kinds of things. There's so many variables you just can't take into account. Now, for instance, in outdoors, if I sat here last year in 2013 and I would just predicted, different things and all. But when it came to duck season, I said, well, probably a decent duck season. Well, I would have been totally wrong. Folks, it's been a fabulous duck season, outstanding, and it's because of the weather. We had no idea it was going to be that kind of cold weather up north to push those ducks down so fast and push so many of them down. So it's a lot of variables when you try to forecast what's going on for the year, but I think in generalities we can speak of it. It looks like, we've got a spring gobbler coming up March 15th. That's not about a little bit over 2 months away. So spring gobbler season looks like it'll be a good year. But even before getting a spring gobbler, we got the rut coming in the next couple of weeks here. So I guarantee you there's going to be some big bucks brought out of the Panhandle. We'll have the pictures to show it to you. So right now, the springtime and all, the cobia run was decent last year. It's hard to predict it, but I again look for a decent cobia run along that whole spring run of Spanish mackerel. Past 4 or 5 years has been really good. So it looks like no reason we shouldn't have another good run on Spanish and all, and pompano and all. Then I wrote down the pompano just this past week. Actually the week before Christmas, about 3 days before Christmas, some commercial guys down at Cape Sandblast, right there on the point between the state park and the tip of St. Joe Peninsula, okay, going north in the whole state park section there on the Gulf side. They have a license commercially fish for pompano, and they're limited to 500 per boat. And 2 boats went out and caught 900 pompano. This is 3 days before Christmas, and of course they had a nice Christmas bonus because they're bringing about $4 a pound. And I figured that was about 2,700 pounds, so they made about $10,000 that day. So that's not bad. But that shows you how many pompano were here, and they got them on the Gulf side. And one boat got 500, and one boat got 400. They're limited to 500 apiece. So that was a good haul there. I don't know how they do it. I don't know how. I'd like to find out, but I do know for a fact they did catch a lot of pompano right there. That's around the St. Joe area. Okay, now, speaking of odd things, Kyle Pridgeon sent me an email. Kyle Pridgeon, I've known him a long time. He shot a doe during doe week, and he had it, took the jawbone out and had it checked out, and just checking the age on it because he knew it was an old deer. And they said that doe was 9 years old. That's extremely old for a deer. So that doe had produced a lot of offsprings in her career and all. So that was a really interesting point. Now let's talk a little bit about coyotes or coyotes, however you want to pronounce it. I pronounce it coyotes. That's the way I learned how to pronounce it. But they're not basically they're not inherent to the eastern United States. They came here in the 1960s. They documented them crossing the Mississippi River, and they hit Florida, northwest Florida, and somewhere in the early 70s, they sort of figured it out by the biologists tracking things and all, and because Alabama biologists would talk to Florida biologists. So anyway, we have them, and you heard that incident over in Bait Point where several cats were taken. When they thought people were messing with the cats and all, but I told Gail right away when I heard about it, I said, that's coyotes in the neighborhood, because they love being in the neighborhoods because they're protected. So anyway, we have a problem with them. And they're vicious, they're all over the place. When they came here in 1970, people didn't know really what the word. They thought they were part of the fox family, which they're part of the dog family. But what happened, they have a documented case where some fox hunters in Gaston County and Liberty County, and I know the guys, most of them passed away now, but they were avid fox hunters, and the fox population was getting low. So they went out west and had guys bringing them some fox. And the guy said these were black fox. Well, it turned out to be those were coyotes, and they acted like a fox. And the fox hunters here in Gaston County and Liberty County didn't know any better because they thought it was just a different species of it. So Game Commission got involved in it. They wouldn't find them anything, but they got a hold of the other state where they came from and cease and desist that guy from doing work in this area. So anyway, bottom line, coyotes are here. So be aware of it. They love neighborhoods and all. I got a little 1 minute and 9 second video where we're in a tree stand, or actually a ground blind, and this coyote walks out. And I'd just seen a deer earlier. I saw a small deer earlier. And in fact, I talked to an Alabama biologist. He says 60% in eastern Alabama, 60% of the yearlings are taken by coyotes. And they're having a really problem over in eastern Alabama. Anyway, in this video, this deer walks across, and about 4 or 5 minutes later, a coyote walks right there in his track. And then we kept the camera on, and we're not talking much, but all of a sudden you hear these coyotes down in the bottom, and they just start going crazy. And I know they surrounded that young deer and all. So let's go and watch this video. You see what I'm talking about.
I hope you can hear this pack of coyotes, boy, they're really making a lot of noise back there. And I don't know how many of them there are.
Now, welcome back. You heard all that noise and how they just go crazy. You know, when a coyote attacks, if animals do this now, they're vicious, and I don't mean to gross you out on a Monday morning, but what they'll do now, they'll go straight for the throat, and they'll put a clamp on that throat, and then they'll adjust it and all that. You know, if you watch fights and all with animals and all, that's how they do it. It's a vicious way to die and all. But I don't like coyotes, and we take care of them when we get a chance. But I don't think they're. I can't find anything good they do for our outdoors. All right, now let's go to more pleasant things, like a big shout out to our snowbirds out there. We get a lot of snowbird viewers this time of year, and I want to welcome y'all again to Panama City and the Florida Panhandle. And I know y'all all up and down the Panhandle. Some of y'all are down there at Cape San Blas, some of y'all over here at Santa Rosa Beach, and we're glad to have every one of y'all, and we appreciate it. We just want y'all to all I want you to do is get outdoors and do something. I know a lot of y'all like to fish that pier. So send me some pictures or call me up and tell me what you call that pier and all. All right, so welcome to the Panhandle this year. Now, I got an email. I'm going to show you just the email itself because this is a really good email from Brad Babinski over here in Callaway. Check this out. he sent his email to me. Now, the actual email itself, I just included email instead of copying the picture. This, you may or may not can read it. I'm going to try to, okay, it says the Gulf County 8-point and taken on New Year's Eve at 4 p.m. Okay, right there. I included a live picture of him as well. Brad Babinski Callaway. And I can enlarge it. Folks, that is a big deal, but look at the date on that. That's December the 21st, 2013, okay? So he'd already scouted out. He had a game camera, and that's the beauty of these game cameras, how it captures everything and all. And so he was able that was about 2 weeks later, he was able to harvest this big buck. Good picture of him right there, same buck. And there's Brad right there. Good job, Brad, and thank you for sharing that picture. And you know, that's what we talk about when you're deer hunting. All the thing about scouting out and knowing what's there. And these game cameras are just so valuable. Okay, now let's go from hunting. Let's jump over to boats this time of year, because most people, including myself, put that boat in the backyard and forget about it. But we shouldn't do it. And a lot of things we need to be doing to our boat in the wintertime. And on occasion, I'm going to remind you some of the things. And Paul Flade up there, Professional Fiberglass, I'd had a viewer emailed a little while back about he had a pontoon boat, and he kept getting pinholes in his pontoon boat, and he couldn't figure out where it was coming from. And I went up there. I knew Paul knew a lot about these boats and all, so I went up there and then talked to Paul about it, did a little, about a minute and a half video on it, and he showed exactly what's going on. But with that being said, you know, we should be starting sometime in January. Get out there. A lot of us don't get on the water in January, but get out there and start that motor and make sure that gas is good. We all know this, and a lot of times we say, well, I'm going to do it, and we just keep putting it off. So don't put it off, and if you get a chance, do it one afternoon this week, or definitely by the weekend, and have a little monitor on your calendar. Just check off that you did that, and you do it in February also, then March, before you know it'll be here, and you'll be ready to take it out, and you'll appreciate you doing it. Okay, so let's go in this video. This is Paul Flade talking about those little pinholes in a pontoon boat. Okay. All right, folks, I'm up here, Professional Fiberglass, Paul Flade. Everybody knows Paul. He's Mr. Fix-It of everything. Paul, listen, I had a viewer call yesterday. Okay. And ironically, we buy this pontoon boat. And what he was talking about, he was having trouble with pinholes in the bottom of his pontoon and wanted to maybe know what caused it and what to do about it. So correct. I came all the way up here so you can answer the question for our viewers.
What's been happening when a pontoon boat or the aluminum's not painted, they're sitting on a carpeted, pressure-treated 2x4. And the pressure-treated 2x4 is reacting with the aluminum and actually causing pinholes in the aluminum. So what people are doing now, not on this particular boat, seeing as how it has been bottom painted, it's okay. But if you don't have bunk slicks on your trailer bunks sitting on bare aluminum, you can get pinholes in your boat. So it's a good idea, if that's the case, to go ahead and bottom paint your pontoon boat if you're going to keep it in the salt water.
Well, that's understandable then. So basically, it's like a chemical reaction.
I believe so. I don't know how to explain it, but I have seen it firsthand. Right where the bump touches the bottom of the aluminum, it looks like it's got cancer.
And even if they rinse it off after
Even if they rinse it off, it's still possible to happen, yes.
Well, folks, that's our tip for today for Panhandle Outdoors. That's Paul Flade with Professional Fiberglass. Thanks, Paul.
Thank you.
All right, welcome back. So take care of your boat, make sure everything's squared away so you'll be ready for it. Now, first of all, let's take a look at our fishing game forecast on this section right here, brought to us by Mark Howard of Edgewater Beach Realty. This year, I've heard predictions of really good real estate this year from people who know. There are times, though. We're looking at our times. We're looking at 4:14 a.m. to 6:14 this morning. And this afternoon is a really good time if you can stand that cold, 4:37 to 6:37. I always thought that deer walk more in cold weather. Really have done that. Okay. Now, one of the things we want to talk about is scouting. You know, getting ready for your deer. And I've got a chart here, and we're going to try to show it to you. The mean conception dates of the deer and all. But we'll go and watch the video first, and maybe come back to this. But scouting out everything right now. These are the dates all, and we'll zoom in on this later. But the big thing is just these dates and all. We're in the conception dates and all of these bucks, which mean of the does, which mean the bucks are mating with them at this point in time. So before all that happens, though, you've got to get out and scout. Now, I mean, just get out and, you know, a lot of us get comfortable in a tree stand and a feeder and a big food plot. And those bucks don't necessarily adhere to our schedule. So you got to get out and walk around and find out. And this is how I got my 8-point last year. I was just walking and I found an area that buck was in, and you know, it happened. It was sort of magical last year. It won't happen that way every year, but a lot of times you just you're not going to have a chance if you just sit there and wait him to come to the feeder. This time of year, you got to get out and scout. So here's one little scouting trip. So let's watch this video, then we'll come back and look at this chart here. Okay, folks, I'm out looking for some sign. It's the middle of the day. It's a cloudy day. It rained yesterday. I know there's some deer in here. I'm right on the edge of my property, and I found a little scrape right here in the road. If you look over there, I have a neighbor. I think I told you about it last year. He's got his tree stand aiming right here toward this scrape. You see the tree stand? It's about 75 yards off my property, and just come right back down here. I'm gonna walk over here to the scrape. Okay, now that was made before the rain. Okay, now I'm gonna walk away from this scrape and go toward the little thicker woods. We're on the edge of the line, and I'm gonna see what I can find. Okay. You can see now it's in January. There's still a lot of acorns on the ground. A lot of people talking about the deer not going to the corn. It's because their acorns still all over the place. Okay, we have some tracks right here now. This is right on, you know, leaving my stand over in this area here, but come over here. I'll show you when we're talking about what a rub is. We're simply talking about rubbing a tree. And this is pretty fresh. It's a small pine, and they're sort of prejudicial toward these small pines. And this hadn't been done too long ago, probably about 3 days ago. Now I'll keep walking down this. This is the trail. This is a trail you're probably going right down through here. Okay, now here's one of my favorite stands. Here is on the edge of my property, and really got good activity in here. Again, right across. Then I can almost spit right back there, and my good neighbor has put him a tree stand up right there, leaning against that pine tree. Come back here and see how close it is to mine. Okay, now I just found a scrape. Now this, come on a little bit closer. The scrape's always up on the limb. Okay, this is used as a limb with leaves. This is just a limb. You can see where it's been chewing on it. Now look down here. Folks, this was made within the past 12 to 20 hours, 12 to 18 hours, because we had rain that long ago. This is on top of the rain. This is what we call a scrape. And we don't want to get too close to it to contaminate it. And it follows the rub line. It's a good thick wooded area and well protected. Okay, welcome back. Now, that serves a great purpose in getting out scouting, but bottom line, it's just a lot of fun walking in the woods. You just never know what you're going to see. And no matter what time of the year, I just love getting out in the woods and walking. So, but we're talking about seriously trying to find, you know, the big bucks and all at this time of year. Different people talking about different locations. This chart I'm going to show you is sent out by the FWC. This is from their game biologist, And this is what they've studied over the years and come out with this, the mean conception date of the does in different areas. So take a look at this, and we may not get finished with it, but we're going to get started on it. We're going to start over in our eastern viewing area. I'm going to sort of point out some places, okay? Let's go over here. Let's see. Let's get way over here. Leon County, we're looking at February 3rd. This is Liberty County, January 29th, okay? Down here in Gulf County, February the 8th. Going over here to Franklin County, and look at the difference. That's a month difference. January 11th here, February the 8th here. Then our this real big county here, one of the biggest counties in the state of Florida geographically, is Liberty County. There's a lot of the forest is in this area. You're looking at January 29th, okay? Now, up in this area too, but okay, now let's go up here to Gaston County. Here's Calhoun County, to December 24th. So look at here at Bay County, January 26th. So look at, you got a month's difference, and look how close these are. This is northern Bay County. Okay, here's Calhoun County here. Okay, here's Jackson County up here. They're talking about January the 4th, February the 6th. So you can see there's a lot of overlapping in this area here. And what's amazing, I'll hunt up in this area, up in here, right in here. And mine's right around, to me, is January the 16th. They got 21st here and the 24th here. So it's odd to me how close these areas are, and yet how far away a month's difference. And we're coming over here to up to Holmes County, Washington County right here, and then Holmes County, February the 7th. Okay, the farther west you go, it gets there in February. See, west here, all these are February's over here in the western part. So it actually starts on the eastern end and starts working around. Okay, I'm gonna run out of time. We're gonna look at this. We're going to look at this chart some more and talk about it, but tomorrow's video is going to be outstanding. One of the best videos we've ever had on Panhandle Outdoors. So you don't want to miss tomorrow's show. Go ahead and call people up, tell them to watch Panhandle Outdoors tomorrow. Do something good for somebody today, and God bless.
Thanks for joining us for Panhandle Outdoors with Winston Chester. Panhandle Outdoors features hunting, fishing, and other activities and information to help you enjoy the great outdoors. Join us next time for Panhandle Outdoors.